Welcome back, sports fans. Civil War era, 1,000-point battle. Deployment was beautiful. DCMS Third Sword of Light, DCMS Seventh Ghost versus the horror of Space AT&T, an unknown Comstar strike force with C3I, vehicles, and artillery. Going into the fray, unknowing, unaware. Boom, deployment. Comstar spread out across the middle, looking at the whole table, trying to cover all the angles. Draconis Combine forces spread off into the left flank and thinly went to the right flank, as well as across the bridge, looking for a direct push into enemy territory. Red trucks are LRM-based trucks. Green trucks are non-weapon trucks, just for spotting. Comstar leaps forward after losing initiative for turn 1, spreading open, trying to secure flanks. Going for the HPG on the far left through your screen. DCMS gets into counterflank position. The strider that ran up the hill got lit up, didn't make it through turn 2. However, everyone down on the ground, spiders included, the scout lance was ready to pounce upon the enemy and leap across the table. Left flank turn 2, Comstar rushed forward, trying to beat down DCMS forces with indirect fire and using a tree line for cover. DCMS, knowing that it was the end, rushed forward against the wall to break line of sight. The Awesome died turn 2. Comstar right flank was trying to secure the HPG while shooting up and annihilating any DCMS forces that came by. It wasn't successful. Comstar decided to try to secure the bridge, dealing with trucks. The trucks were like, "Oh, shoot me, please." Comstar then tried to rush down the hill and come around a corner. But how did it turn out? Here's how it looks. So, looking at the far right flank, 2 trucks came around, Venom's up top. Exterminator flanked the LRM carriers and pounded one of them really good. Then we had the left flank continue to push forward. It was just brutal. Highlander got lit up, Crockett got lit up, Thug got punished. Spider tried to flank the crab, missed, and then looking across the bridge, that poor khaki Spider was out in the wind and absorbed a lot of shots that whiffed, and he was gracious to make it another round. Akuma, Dragonfire moving up. Green Panther got popped in the chest. And then the ruins. Comstar, shaky camera, Comstar was trying to throw off all fire and didn't make it. Comstar wins initiative on turn 3, rushes the hill. DCMS forces prepare to meet them around a corner. LRM carriers line up. Stalker leans back, catches some more indirect fire. How it really turned out, DCMS got flanked by the Mercury. We murdered the Stalker. The khaki Spider jumped, finished it off. Stalker went boom. Hashtag sadness. Mahler and Aguinaldo laid out all the hurt they could. LRM carriers dealt with the people coming around the corner. Akuma lit up the Lancelot. It was just a mean turn, people. It just wasn't right. Right flank DCMS scatters as per the plan, trying to throw off as many shots as possible. Exterminator moved up to shoot the Akuma in the back. Dragonfire was too far out of range to get a shot off on the Exterminator. Blasted. Back over here, Enforcer went down, Griffin went down. These 2 tried to flank LRM carriers. Did not go well. LRM carriers smashed the Mercury as well as the Lancelot. Enforcer was shot in the chest. Catapult took a brutal beating, and it's all good. DCMS forces moved to secure the ruins on the left side with the blue circle. All vehicle forces of Comstar went underneath the bridge to secure the base of the bridge. One archer went down after being hit by 2 LRM barrages. Poor DCMS battle lance on the right flank, the Sword of Light, was smashed by artillery and went down. Coming back around, Green Venom and Panther were taking shots at the vehicles. Dragonfire tried to light up the vehicles underneath the bridge, managed to smash one. Comstar, losing a lot of mechs, decided to pull back and hold their own the best they could. Only a Manicorn of Bulldog, zoom, fix him, was left underneath the bridge. One vaporized archer. These two tried to fight 4 LM carriers and lost. Catapult was the only survivor who decided to bug out off the table. Artillery decimated the battle lance and Nodachi, and the other mech next to it went down. The Akuma only has 2 structure left, and the Dragonfire was around the corner. That poor dragon holding on to fight off the catapult. The opponent didn't know the dragon only had 3 structure left, but it still bailed. Mahler was ready to light him up. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for watching. Hey everybody, thank you for checking out my battle report. If you stuck all the way to the end, thank you. In honor of my list, the Crusader with all the missiles, even though I didn't have one. This was a thought experiment that I've been kicking around for a while based on Alpha Strike rules and how you can integrate effective C3 networks with LRM carriers. So a conversation I was having on Facebook with a guy from Europe, don't remember his name, he was a really great conversation to have with him. So, rules is written, C3 only benefits if the spotter or the person close to the enemy and the shooter has clear line of sight, which is very true. Also, rules is written, indirect fire can benefit from C3. So the lesson here is that if the sprint helicopters had not been shot down or harassed or had been in ECM bubbles, as what most of the game was, ECM versus ECCM, then when a sprint with C3 spots a target, then it's, hi, I'm within short range. Now, rules is written, the LRM carrier, as long as it's within 42 inches, not in an enemy ECM bubble, fires indirect as the same range as a spotter. Short, hello, welcome to a whole new dynamic of hurting people. So with the upgraded LRM carriers doing indirect fire 4, and then having 4 of the upgraded LRM carriers on the list benefiting from C3, it was who got lined up for shots first. Even though most of the game the LRM carriers were at medium range, it was an effective strategy to push my opponent back and make him reconsider where he was going. Now, honestly, turn 2 turned out to be a whiff turn for me because most of my indirect fire missed, even with the trucks and the extra LRM carriers that were the basic models with no C3 upgrades. Everything whiffed. Now, going into turn 3, the effect of the C3 was working because we pounded his stalker into scrap. Literally, the spider just went and finished it off. As you look through the battle and the different angles, my opponent was confused, didn't stick to his original battle strategy, and came back around and tried to counter push, counter assault, and didn't want to commit to any flank. So I didn't commit to any flank and denied as many shots as possible. My deployment mistake turn 1 was leaving my Awesome on top of the hill. His entire left flank pummeled the poor Awesome to 3 movement hits and made it a pylon that wasn't going anywhere. The Awesome died, the Strider died. But every time he took something, I was wearing his forces down. So when you look at his dead pile going into the tail end of this video, he had nothing left except the mechs that were on the right flank at the back hill. They weren't going to be able to cross the field soon enough to counter or catch objectives. The left flank with the catapult was his only option to contest. The bridge objective, he had 3 vehicles left. So at the best at the end of turn 5, he could contest 3. I owned 1. He had nothing left to own as far as objectives. Turn 5 was just going to be decimating up the board. We decided to have a gentleman's agreement and call it. This is a great game in 1,000-point battles. I like 1,000-point battles more than 200 and 300 because you can have a larger ebb and flow of dice gods. You can have a larger tactical and strategic overall plan unfold. The unfolding for me was looking at how he was going to respond to any move that I made. My list had a lot of upgraded expensive units in it, but at the same time, I was rolling with a lot of cheap units. I had 6 basic trucks at skill 5 that I forgot to charge the mechs with. It's 1 point of damage at 10 inches, but hey, it would have been cute. I had 4 trucks at skill 4 with the LRM variant, 8 points apiece, truck for the win. My opponent, not knowing target priority strategies for each individual turn, cost him a lot because my Spider Recon Lance jumped in his backyard and instead of all the fire going forward, turned around and deal with 1-point monsters behind him. Yeah, it was interesting. So overall, everything that unfolded had a time and a place, even with a bad turn of shooting. So going back to the list evaluation, I needed to have 2 battle lances to absorb constant combat damage from him when he did jump my flank. The only 2 mistakes that I'm looking at for my opponent was not committing to either flank and then running lighter units to deal with 3 LRM carriers. Instead of systematically annihilating my air support with his artillery, using indirect fire, he chose to pick on things he could see. The MVPs for me was the C3 network. If the C3 network would have been cut off or destroyed, then I could say the game would have been in his favor from turn 2 going forward, or even turn 3. My Naginata was untouched, my Mauler was untouched, and the Panther that was a C3 Master Green got hit. We weren't playing with Forced Withdrawal, which saved a portion of the network. Had it been Forced Withdrawal, I would have lost turn 3. I would have lost the right flank turn 3, and then I would have lost the left flank turn 4. And if he would have had anything clean, he could have walked up and sat on the objective. All I had left clean were LRM carriers, the Mauler, the Naginata, the red Venom, the green Venom, the red Panther, and then the Dragonfire. Everything else had been just blown away. And trucks. I had a buttload of trucks left, more than I was expecting. So, with this in mind, missiles for the win, Draconis Combines the True House, and Comstar the Evil Space AT&T. I had a great game. Thank you all for checking it out. The dead pile that I had in picture was missing the Nodachi, missing it had the Strider. It was missing it was missing the rest of the spiders, basically. So, all in all, list is in the comments. Check out the Kickstarter. Play bigger games. We're in Texas. Deuces and have a great night, y'all.